Today I want to cover a trick that I just learned from ProGuard. In previous videos where I was talking about variables, I said that you can store variables in tiles and tokens and such, and that you could reference a variable, but you could assign information to variables on other tokens, and you could check those variables on other tokens. So you could say, does the variable on X token or tile equal this? But you couldn't pull that, like get that in programming terms. You could set it, you could check it, but you can't get it. Turns out I was wrong. I know. I'll give you a moment to process, but I made a mistake. I'm willing to own it. It turns out that although with standard operations, you can't get a variable from another tile, but there is a way that you can do it. And so I wanted to show the trick here. So basically what I've got going on here, we've got two tiles, very originally named 1 and 2. This one has a variable in it. And this one is going to get that variable. So not set it, not just check it, it's going to get it, which means it can take that information from that variable and then use it however it wants, directly address it. So just to show what's going on here, not only can you do that, but you can also get all the other properties of that tile. So if I click on this tile here, I get the X and Y, the height, the width, and the contents of the variable, all of them. This tile is pulling all that information from this tile. So if I take this tile and I move it and I resize it, and I go back over here, as you can see, the information has changed. And if I change the contents of the variable that's stored in this tile, that will change as well. So we're able to pull any information we want from another tile. So how do we do that? It's very easy to do. What we're using is your active collection. The active collection is established through filters. It is established through like doing a saving throw check. Anything like that. You end up with a very temporary, keep that in mind, a very temporary collection set, which you can then directly address. But there's also a manual just set collection command that allows you to add or remove tiles or tokens or whatever to the current collection. Once they're in the current collection, you can directly address them via a value. So value dot, in this case, tiles, we're addressing a tile, but you can also do value dot tokens dot 0, because it's an array. A collection is multiple items. What we're doing here, because we want to make sure we're getting a specific tile, we make sure we add to the collection only that one tile, no other tile. And so we know that 0, the first element of the array, is going to be that tile. There's no ambiguity, there's no randomness, there's no confusion. And then just dot whatever property you want. So dot X, dot Y, dot height, dot width. And in the case of variables, variables are a flag, which I covered in another video. You can address all the properties of something by addressing its flags. So we go variable.tiles. Open square brace, 0, close square brace, dot, and then whatever it is we're looking for. So dot flags, dot monks active tiles, dot variables, dot the name of the variable. In this case, it's test bar. Now, to find out what the name of a particular property is, the same trick that I've shown before, but I'll quickly show it again. We go into the console. We make sure the item whose information we want, the token or the tile or whatever it is selected. It will only work if what you're want to get information on is selected. and then you go over into your console and you type canvas.tiles or tokens, if you're doing a token, .controlled, open square brace, 0, close square brace. We'll run that command and we get this small response here, but it can be broken open with this arrow. We open it up and we look for document. And then under document is all the information that you can get. So the alpha, the elevation, the height, whether or not it's locked or hidden, rotation, the X and Y, and also your flags. So if we look, there we go, flags, and then flags for whichever module you're interested in this case, Monk's Active Tiles, and then variables, and then the variable that you're interested in. And you can verify you have the right variable because you can see the contents of it. So for adding it to the collection, there's lots of different ways to add something to a collection. The easiest one, especially if you want to get very specific, I want to get that one and only that one, is you just tag that tile or that token or whatever it is that you want to work with. So I just assigned it the tag 1. No other tile has that tag. I add 1 to the current collection. And that's it. Now, again, it's very important you keep this in mind. Current collections and values both are extremely volatile and temporary. So don't rely on this information remaining intact and current for significant periods of time. So you want to use it right away. So I add to the collection, I immediately use the information in the next command. Because one, anytime you do a saving throw, anytime you do a filter or anything like that, you change your collection, right? And then all of these values get changed. Variables are permanent, values are temporary. But also, it has been my experience that there are some bugs in how values and collections work. And so I was working on an airlock puzzle, and I ran into a problem. Krogard, me and Krogard and another person were working on it. We came up with 3 different solutions, and of course, Krogard's was the fanciest, and his used setting collections. And so after I had finished with my solution, I played around with Krogard's solution, and I found that although his solution worked some of the time, also some of the time it wouldn't work, because basically, like, I would set the collection and then I would go a few commands using that collection, and I could get like 4 or 5 commands down using the collection. It would be fine. But then like the 5th or 6th command would fail, because by the time I reached that command, the collection had fallen apart. So it's not just temporary in that the next time you run the tile, the collection won't be there. That's true. Or that the collection gets reset the next time you do a filter or saving throw or whatever. That's also true. But also, just in normal sequential processing, we are not doing anything to alter the collection, and you're not, rerunning the tile or anything else. After so many commands or so many milliseconds, or I don't know what the cutoff is, the collection just falls apart. No idea why. I've mentioned it to Krogard. I'm not sure if Monk is aware of it. So anyway, when you're using this solution, use the information immediately and don't count on the information being around for any particular period of time. So if in doubt, set the collection again, right? If you're getting unusual behavior when you're trying to address the collection that you created properly, and it's not working, set your collection again. Anyway, so that's all there is to it. You figure out over here exactly what the information you're looking for, where it's located, what it's called, and everything else. You just go the double curly braces, value dot tiles or tokens, whichever you're working with, dot square braces 0 dot, and then whatever it is you want to address. And if there's only one item in your collection, then that 0 will address that one item, and you can directly pull that information. Because these are handlebars, any action that can accept handlebars, in this case, a chat message, can directly get that information. You can also take that information and assign it to a local variable. Once it's been assigned to a local variable, you can get it through all the standard means, and the information is permanent, so you don't have to worry about it messing up or disappearing on you. So just a little trick, and you're probably not going to come across a lot of situations where you need to use it, but if you need to get the information from another tile, which normally you can't do using this method, thanks to CrowGuard, you can. Hopefully you guys found this helpful or interesting. Check out my links below if you want to look into my stuff, and have a good one.